What is up, my crime crazy people? Welcome to Veil of Humanity. We are your hosts, Melonie Yelvington
and Kimberly Taylor.
Today we are bringing you part 2 of the Nikolas Cruz and the Parkland shooting.
So grab your favorite beverage and a pillow to scream into as we finish up this sad, horrible case.
We are fans of the cursey words, like our fellow podcaster and YouTube, Bailey Sarian.
And we may drop a few, just saying. Trigger warnings, mass shooting, school shooting, and suicide ideations, just for y'all. Oh, let me answer a quick text, y'all, because my hubby be texting. And I gotta answer him back immediately. Apologize. Alright, Bess, you ready?
Ready as I'm gonna be.
Alright. So we're going back to 2017 for this. So Cruz, we're talking about Nikolas Cruz, he legally purchased an AR-15 style semi-automatic rifle from a Coral Springs gun store after having passed required background check.
Right, but this is one reason why people want the age limit to purchase weapons to 21.
Yes, and so, prior to the purchase, he had obtained other firearms, but at the time of the shooting in Florida, it was legal for people of age 18 to purchase guns.
Right.
But they did change the requirement up to 21 since then.
Okay.
So it has been changed. But I don't know.
In Florida.
In Florida. But I know a lot of states are still under 18. And I can't remember what Texas is. I think it's... No, Matthew said because my youngest said he could buy a gun at 18, but he could not have a concealed carry license until he was 21.
Yeah.
Which is really messed up.
It is really... I mean, if I can't have a license to carry, but you can let me purchase it?
Yeah, but I'm just going to purchase this gun. And I understand you pick up the thing, you point it, it's obviously how it works. It's easy. But there should be a responsibility, and you should know the responsibility of being a gun owner.
Right.
Which is where the license comes in, where they teach you the safety and when to use it. Not just a willy-nilly have it go, I guess that I own this. Woo.
Yeah, but I think about like me and you that are both, concealed carry.
Mm-hmm.
I have an opinion about the guns and people wanting us to give up our AR-15s and things like that. However, one saying sticks in my head, and I don't remember where I heard it, but it just stuck in my head, and it is, guns don't kill people. People kill people.
Yep.
And that is my opinion.
That's mine as well.
And I don't think that you need to confiscate our guns because people used a weapon to kill. What about if you murder with a knife? Do you want to come take all the K-bar knives?
That's the way the government and everyone thinks, though. Okay, so this happened, so we're going to take this weapon. Yeah. But, I've seen TikToks and videos and stuff, people going, okay, here's my gun, it's going to automatically get up and kill, and, of course, it just sits there.
Yeah.
It physically takes someone picking up that gun and pulling that trigger and aiming. That is how it works. I mean, yes, there are accidentals, but you're still holding that gun. Right. There is no, it's just sitting in a shelf somewhere and decides to get it and run away and do this. This kid made the decision to take that AR and walk into a school and shoot all these students and teachers. This kid made that decision. His gun didn't make that decision for him.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I firmly believe if they don't want these kinds of things happening, then stop making it available so easy to them.
Because, you've got to pass a background check, but
what about mental health and all these other things that people worry about?
Mm-hmm. It should be a more in-depth background. It should be more.
What happened to the days where you had to, apply for it and then you had to wait? Because I didn't do that. I went to a B&S Guns in Garland, near where I live, and I
You bought it.
I bought it. And it was just here, into a computer. And then 10 minutes later, you're good. All right, I can walk out of here with a gun from your store. It's okay.
probably like with medical, like, you know, with medical, we can look up your background, like what narcotics and controlled substances you've been purchasing from your pharmacy. And I know that I believe it's everywhere else, but I know in the state of Texas you can definitely do that.
Yeah.
And so it's probably that way where you can just quickly do a background search on people. Just like we can get on like certain websites and do a background check on people. You can probably just do the bare minimum, make sure there's no major felonies, make sure, you know, hey, this person didn't just get out of prison for murder.
Yeah.
That type of thing. But it's, honestly, it's crazy. It's so crazy that you can just go down there, okay, here you go. There it is.
Right.
So there were items that were recovered by the police at the scene, including gun magazines with swastikas carved in them. One student claimed that Cruz had drawn a swastika and the words, "I hate," N-word, I'm not going to say the word, on his backpack. CNN have reported that Cruz was in a private Instagram group chat where he expressed racist, homophobic, anti-Semitic, and xenophobic views. He said that he hated Jews, in words, immigrants, and frequently discussed the weapons that he owned. Even at one point he said, "I think I'm going to kill people."
Wow.
In the group chat. But he later said, "Oh, no, I'm just joking. Kidding, y'all.
Wow.
Kidding."
Wow.
Okay. So, a former excuse me, I can't talk for a second. Usually happens once a podcast. So a former classmate said that Cruz had anger management issues, and he often joked about guns and gun violence, which included threats of shooting up establishments. The brother of a 2016 graduate described him as super stressed out all the time and talked about guns a lot and tried to hide his face. Another student that was enrolled at the school at the time of the shootings that I think everyone had in their minds, if anybody was going to do it, it was going to be him. I mean, he was already pointed out, you know, this person's going to be the one to do it if anybody does it.
Because he just gave off those vibes.
Yeah, and the fact that he's saying, "I'm going to kill people, this is what's going to happen." Another classmate said that he told him how he got kicked out of 2 private schools, he was held back twice, he had aspirations to join the military, he enjoyed hunting.
Wow.
A student's mother said that he also bragged about killing animals.
Wow.
And a neighbor said that his mother would call the police over to the house to try to talk some sense into him.
I don't think that worked.
And there were early warnings to law enforcement. They said they received about 23 calls about Cruz during the previous decade, but the figure is in dispute right now. CNN used a public records request to obtain a sheriff's log, which showed that from 2008 to 2017, at least 45 calls were made in reference to Cruz.
Wow.
His brother, or the family home. So on February 5th, 2016, the calls included an anonymous tip that Cruz had threatened to shoot up the school, and a tip on November 30th, 2017, that he might be a school shooter in the making.
Wow.
And that he collected knives and guns. And then on September 23rd, 2016, a peer counselor notified the school resource officer of his suicide attempt and intent to buy a gun. The school indicated it would do a threat assessment. A threat assessment? All these warning signs, all these calls, and we'll just do a threat assessment, that's all.
No wonder these parents are so angry.
Yeah, I would be too. So, September 2016, 3 people, including two of the school's counselors, stated that Cruz should be committed for a mental evaluation. But was he? Probably not.
Probably not.
So all these people are saying, hey, he needs to be committed, he needs to go through this, you know, we need to have him, you know, checked out, but no one does it.
This was a middle school, right? I want to make sure I have that right. Stoneman Douglas Middle School.
High school.
High school. Okay.
High school.
Okay.
So, September 24th, 2017, a person with a user named Nikolas Cruz posted a comment to YouTube that read, "I'm going to be a professional school shooter." The person who uploaded the video to YouTube reported the comment to the FBI. And according to Agent Robert Lasky, the agent conducted database reviews but was unable to track down the individual who made the threatening comment.
Oh my gosh.
So, January 5th, 2018, which is less than 2 months before the shooting, the FBI received a tip on its public access line from a person who was close to Cruz. And on February 16th, 2 days after the shooting, the agency released a statement that detailed this information. According to the statement, the caller provided information about Cruz's gun ownership, desire to kill people, erratic behavior, and disturbing social media posts, as well as the potential of him conducting a school shooting. So after conducting an investigation, the FBI said the tip line did not follow protocol when the information was not forwarded to the Miami field office, where investigative steps would have been taken. So they opened a probe into tip line's operations.
Mm.
That is messed up.
That is very messed up.
So if protocol with this tip line would have been followed through, of course we've seen the downfall of tip lines before with, the Kaylee Anthony case.
Mm-hmm.
So we know how that works. So
gotta love Florida.
You gotta love it. No offense to my Floridians, but y'all know. Y'all know.
Sorry.
The lack of response by Israel and other members of the Broward County Sheriff's Office to the numerous red flags and warnings about Cruz has been the subject of scrutiny.
Mm-mm-mm.
In the days following the shooting, calls for Israel's resignation intensified as more information that alluded to the department's inaction was revealed. He refused to resign in the immediate aftermath of the shooting, saying, "I've given amazing leadership to this agency," while denying responsibility for the actions of his deputies. The governor, this culminated in the governor removing him from his role and replacing him with Gregory Tony. Okay, so after his initial arraignment day, the day after the shootings, he was charged with 17 counts of premeditated murder and held without bond. And according to the affidavit, he confessed to the shooting. It was also claimed that he told officers that he brought additional loaded magazines hidden in a backpack. He was placed on suicide watch in an isolation cell after the arraignment. The lead defense counsel, Gordon Weeks, asked Broward Circuit Judge Elizabeth Scherer to recuse herself, claiming that her previous comments and rulings showed favoritism towards the prosecution, which would prevent Cruz from receiving a fair trial. She disagreed and declined the request on February 26th. Sounds like they should have recused her.
I don't like the defense team.
No.
At all. So he was gonna get what he got anyways. He
deserved what he got.
He deserved more. He deserves not to breathe.
Exactly. But on March 7th, 2018, a grand jury indicted Cruz on 34 charges, 17 counts of first-degree murder and 17 counts of attempted first-degree murder. He was arraigned on March 13th, and the prosecution filed notice of their intent to seek the death penalty. They said they can prove 5 of the aggravating factors that qualify a murder for the death penalty in Florida. He declined to enter a plea, so his defense team entered a not guilty on his behalf.
Oh, I was going to say, did they pull a Koberger?
No.
Because he refused. He said, we're going to stand silent. So I thought that was the same. That he didn't do that. They put it in for him.
Yeah, they put it in for him. They said not guilty.
The defense team, not the court.
Correct. The defense team.
Yeah.
The defense had earlier offered a guilty plea if the death penalty were taken off the table and reiterated immediately before it was refused. So, during the week of April 8th through the 12th, the defense included a 3-page letter from a Minnesotan into their court record of case. It was addressed to the judge and claimed that research into Cruz's past led the writer to believe that Cruz had a developmental disability and that he was fearful of other people and was threatened by bullies. The letter ended by claiming that Cruz appeared to be consumed by sadness and depression. And I'm sad and depressed too. Amen on that, but it doesn't mean I want to go shoot up something.
Oh, God.
Oh, y'all. If you ain't got that pillow, I would have it now. So that same week, a hearing was held to determine if Cruz was entitled to a public defender. His attorney, court-appointed public defender, Howard Finkelstein, asked the court to wait until the probate case involving Cruz's late mother's estate was concluded, and Cruz's net worth could be determined, as he would have only been entitled to a public defender had he been able to afford a private.
Of course. What does it matter?
But according to the sheriff's office, on November 13th, he attacked a jail officer.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
The following day, he was charged with aggravated assault on an officer.
Good.
Battery against an officer.
Good.
And use of an electric or chemical weapon against an officer.
Damn.
He
was going in for it, wasn't he?
He was. The officer who allegedly attacked him had asked him to not drag his sandals on the ground while he was walking the jail's day room. It was claimed that he responded by flipping the bird and striking the officer in the face. He also grabbed the stun gun out of the deputy's holster.
So do you think maybe at this point he's doing this stuff to start his insane crap?
Sounds kind of like it.
Doing crazy.
I'm out of my mind, that's why I'm doing this.
Yes, crazy out of my mind. That's why I attacked him.
Yes.
Okay.
The weapon discharged during the brawl before the deputy regained control, and he was placed in solitary confinement. Yeah, he appeared at his initial hearing on the assault charges, and that bail was set at $200,000.
Ain't nobody coming to get his sorry ass out.
No.
So
I don't know who would.
Okay.
So.
Oh, I didn't know this. Okay.
So on April 24, 2019, a determination was made that Cruz and his half brother Zachary would share the proceeds of an insurance policy valued at $864,929.
Wow.
This would make Cruz ineligible for representation by the public defender's office, and the office therefore asked to be removed from the case on that date. So, July 26th, they ruled that his confession would be released to the public, adding on August 3rd that the Broward School District's report on Cruz would also be released with some redactions to protect his privacy rights. I'm sorry, at this point, you should not have privacy rights.
Yeah, but our legal system, they say it's a process. Trust the process.
I always trust. No. At this point, I don't want to trust the process anymore.
Yeah, you failed at this process.
So the confession was released on August 6th. August 8th, a video of Cruz's confession was released by TMZ.
Of course, TMZ was like,
"We're here, right on it. They've got it every time." He can be heard crying near the end of the video and saying, "Kill me" to the camera.
And just for the record, my husband doesn't believe anything unless it comes from TMZ.
I can so see that. I can see that.
Yeah.
TMZ is so quick to react. I mean, they've released deaths and videos and stuff even before any news.
They're into everything. It's not just Hollywood. It's not just the actors and actresses that they follow over there and try to talk to on a daily basis, and it's murders.
It's everything.
He talks about everything.
Yeah, I will check TMZ first before if I see something on Facebook, I'm like, oh, let's
see if TMZ has.
Because if it's not on TMZ, it ain't real.
You're welcome, TMZ.
Yes, you are, because we all know Facebook Lives. So, 2020 is when they initially scheduled to begin his trial, January 27th of 2020.
Of course, COVID.
Yes.
Here it comes.
It was originally delayed until mid-year to allow his lawyers more time to build their case. Then that case was delayed because of COVID. So, it wasn't expected to start until September 2021. However, a start date was not set at that time. So, prior to the trial, the judge ruled that the use of derogatory words to refer to Cruz would not be allowed from prosecutors or witnesses during the trial, saying it would not be feasible to create an exhaustive list of words that should not be used to describe him.
Well, then let's just call him killer and murderer.
There we go.
That's a good one.
However, the judge ruled against the defense in the use of some words, ruling that Cruz can be called killer.
Oh, okay.
School shooter.
There we go.
Or murderer, as she deemed those words normal to describe particular facts.
Okay, so basically what they're saying is don't call him a piece of shit. Don't call him a sorry motherfucker.
Yeah,
like
let's leave
that,
those words out of it. You know, let's not just say that.
Okay, I get that. It's the court.
So, October 14th, a trial was scheduled for the following day, where it was reported that he would plead guilty to the battery charge. Judge stated that she would hold a hearing on October 20th, where Cruz planned to plead guilty to all counts relating to the shooting to avoid the death penalty.
Oh.
So that's where he gets out of it. So,
and they're just mad that let me process this for a minute. Just give me a minute.
I mean,
so great, you pled guilty because you did it, but why are we taking the death penalty off the table? And
because he would only plead guilty if they took the death penalty off the table.
But why, with so many families and so many people affected by this, would the state even consider it? They had to know that we can get him. We can get him. We have all of the aggravating factors. We can get him. We don't want to take it off the table. We want to see him fry.
Because they wanted him to plead guilty. They wanted him to plead guilty.
Well, why? I mean, you already know he did it.
He confessed to doing it, but they'd already put in the charge, or they'd already said, oh, not guilty. We're pleading not guilty at this point. So, but he would plead guilty if they would take, okay, we'll take the death penalty off the table at this point.
I don't agree with that call, but I wasn't there and I'm not a part of it, but
I mean, if I had my way, he would be sitting on death row and already been executed.
If it was my child, and from what I have seen lately on Facebook, there are still people over there that even go into like Uvalde school, you know. And I saw one mother who was coming to get her son have a confrontation with a police officer on his body cam, and she was livid at him. And I don't know all of what happened, but the last thing that she said to that cop before the door slammed of her leaving the school with her child was, when you have a child or a daughter or a son murdered while they're at school, then you can talk to me.
I agree.
Otherwise, I mean, I don't know what happened between them two. It was some kind of interaction that they had, but the last thing she said was just like, whoa. When you have a child that's been murdered at school, then you can talk to me. Otherwise, leave me alone. I'm here to get my son, and I'm taking my son. No matter what you're talking to me about or what you don't like that I've done or whatever. I was just like, wow. Anyways, sorry about that little rant, guys. My bad.
Oh, it's heartbreaking. I know we're on a year since Uvalde now, and I'm seeing all the TikToks and all the parents posting it. And one mom showed her senior with her kindergarten that was killed at Uvalde a year ago, and she had done her senior walk, and then hours later her little sister would be dead. You know, it's just, there, like we've talked before, there should be something more in place to prevent this.
Yeah.
So, October 20th, a plea hearing was scheduled for the murder and attempted murder charges, where he pled guilty to all charges. He made a statement after pleading guilty in which he expressed regret for his crimes and asked for the victims' families to decide his fate.
Okay, and we know what they wanted. They wanted him to die.
He should die like he killed them.
Jesus.
So he was sentenced that day for his attack on Sergeant Beltran as well. He was given the maximum sentence for each of the related charges, totaling nearly 26 years in prison, as each sentence will be served consecutively. So July 18, 2022, that's when his death penalty trial began. So they kept it in there.
Okay.
On July 27th, prosecutors presented the jury's digital evidence in their investigation. They were presented with an 18-page list of search queries from various Google accounts.
Oh.
The list included searches such as how to become a school shooter, why I want to kill a woman, and frequent references on pumped up kicks.
Oh, pumped up kicks, Columbine school, high school.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I'm not sure, but I know the song.
Maybe they were playing it or something? Okay. I
didn't know that reference.
I didn't either.
On August 4th, the prosecution rested its case. On August 20th, the newspaper released drawings written by Cruz in prison, which he created in May. In the drawings, he blamed his ex-girlfriend's new boyfriend for making him do the shooting. They always gotta blame somebody. Always. If it's not their mama or their daddy, they're blaming some ex-girlfriend or boyfriend. He also claimed he was also sexually humiliated on Instagram prior to the attack.
How is that possible? I don't have an Instagram, so I don't know anything about it, but I don't even know that statement makes sense.
Well, the defense team rested on September 14th. The rebuttal began on September 27th and ended on the 29th. Closing arguments were delivered on October 11th.
So that took almost 4 weeks, huh?
Yeah, that was a long trial.
Yeah.
October 13th, the jury recommended that Cruz be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. While the jury found that the state had proven beyond a reasonable doubt the aggravating factors on all counts, they were not unanimous on whether the aggravating factors outweighed the mitigating factors.
So they didn't take it off the table. It was just the jury that couldn't come to the
decision.
Yes, to kill him.
I can't imagine being on a jury that has to do a murder case and having that fate put in your hands of whether this person lives or dies.
Yep.
I imagine that is very, very hard.
Well, for sure, because they have to be able to lay their head down at night and know that they made the right decision.
And you have to look at all the factors. Well, all the factors here are that this person is guilty. Yes. I understand in a case where, well, I'm not sure. We're kind of on the edge here, but we should still kill him, which used to happen a lot.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, honestly, he should have been given death.
I agree.
All right, so the aftermath of everything. On May 30th, 2018, prosecutors released 3 videos that they claimed Cruz had recorded on his cell phone before the shooting. In the videos, Cruz appears to describe his personal feelings, his enthusiasm and plan for the shooting, his hatred of people, and how it would make him notorious. So the school district, they provided group counseling to students and their families. And they paid for the fees, the funeral, and counseling by the state. On February 15th, police presence was increased at schools in at least 2 counties in Florida in response to the shooting. And on February 16th, the superintendent announced that the building where the shooting took place would be demolished. On October 9th, 2020, a replacement building was opened. The building where the shooting took place will not be demolished until the trial of Cruz was over, because it was declared a crime scene, but it's been demolished.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks after the shooting, Stoneman Douglas reopened to students amid a heavy police presence. The principal emphasized that the first week back would be focused on healing, with classes ending at 11:40 a.m. He tweeted, "Remember, our focus is on emotional readiness and comfort, not curriculum, so there is no need for backpacks. Come ready to start the healing process and reclaim the nest." They had extra counseling, emotional support dogs, there to help with everybody's return and get back into their swing of things.
I can't imagine
walking back into a place where all that horror happened.
I cannot, just the anxiety and the terror that I felt that day, probably it would not work for me personally. But I can't imagine kids going back.
I can't imagine the panic attacks they dealt with, the mental health issues they were dealing with. The thought of it is horrible, and my heart goes out to all the parents and all the victims and all the students.
Absolutely.
To any school shooting, Sandy Hook, Uvalde, Columbine, all those that have happened. Mm-hmm. So in early April, the school implemented several new safety rules and regulations. The changes included fewer entrances, law enforcement officers at each entrance, identification badges for students and staff, and the requirement that all book bags must be clear plastic. Which, you know, when I was in high school, way back in 2001, I mean, I'd been wearing name badges with my picture ID on it since, like, the early 90s.
Yeah, my kids did that. I don't ever remember having that. I might have had it in high school. I might have.
I have all four years of my high school ones in a senior memory book, but I remember having to do that. So I don't know if that's not implemented everywhere or if it is, you know. But I remember having to, because it was annoying. It was on a lantern and we had to wear it at all times. It was where, you know, we checked out library books and ate lunch and stuff. But
yeah.
And my youngest has all his. I have all his.
Yeah.
I remember him having to wear it. So the use of metal detectors were under consideration, but several students criticized the new safety measures as ineffective and intrusive. Which I guess
why do the kids feel like it's intrusive?
Maybe because they're present of all the law enforcement. No offense to high school students, but
no, but I'm talking about a metal detector.
It was under consideration. They didn't put them up.
But how the students criticize that it's intrusive?
What do you mean?
That's what they said.
I know they're saying that it's intrusive and ineffective.
We're talking about walking through a metal detector. How is that intrusive on me?
Because if you have metal on you and it goes off, we all know how it is going through TSA at the airport. And just one little thing, I've had my jeans set it off.
I know, but if I'm not carrying anything, if everything's okay, but I'll go right on through. Otherwise, why do you worry about feeling that way?
Probably because they wanted a sense of normalcy, and that's not normal. I mean,
we're not living in a time period that's normal right now.
No, we're not.
We're not in the 80s when we didn't have to worry about it and we didn't lock our doors and stuff. You know?
That's true. I mean, nowadays we're double checking over our shoulders about everything we do.
I know 1,000% it would make the parents feel better.
Yeah.
But it says several students criticized the new safety measures as ineffective and intrusive. I'm sorry, how is that ineffective if I have a police officer at every door and I just want to make sure you're not coming into my school with a weapon? That's it. That should make these kids feel safe, I would think. Not feel intrusive. Anyways, that's just my thoughts.
So we're at the first anniversary.
Okay.
So on the first anniversary of the incident, the school opted to establish a voluntary attendance day, organizing a day of community service with early dismissal so that the school was closed at the time of the attack. A police line was created to shelter those students who chose to attend. The large planned project for the day was to replace the memorial with a permanent memorial garden. And a planned moment of silence at 10:17 a.m. Eastern was held, with support provided from grief counselors and therapy dogs. An interfaith memorial service was planned in a separate location. All right.
Where are we at?
Well, we're talking about the officer inactivity now, which, like we were talking about, Uvalde case.
Oh, yeah. You would think this case would have changed things in the future, which is again why I go back to the metal detectors and
more security, and we need more. So the SRO officer, Scott Peterson, who was armed on site and in uniform as a Broward Sheriff's Office deputy, was accused of remaining outside of Building 12 during the shooting. 8 days after the attack, he was suspended without pay, and he immediately retired. The sheriff said that Scott Peterson was absolutely on campus for this entire event, and that he should have gone in, addressed the killer, and killed the killer.
Exactly. Because the killer went into Building 12, right? And he was standing. This deputy was standing outside of that building, but
yeah, he stood outside of it. He didn't even attempt to go in to try and de-escalate the situation. Just like Uvalde, they stood outside in the hallway and watched this
You know what goes through my mind when I hear that? That he retired? How old was he? Was he like, man, I'm about to retire. I ain't going in there. I could get killed. I'm not going in there. Then what are you doing with the badge on? Like, what was he thinking? I would love to know.
Because a lot of the SROs, they think, okay, so I'm just going to be walking through a school. I don't really have much to do. No offense to my SROs. I think y'all are awesome for what you do. I had awesome ones in high school, and I'm grateful you're there to protect our schools. But yeah. I need you to step the fuck up. Please. So, June 2019, following an investigation that included interviews with 184 witnesses, Peterson was arrested and then bonded out for the crime of failing to protect the students during the shooting. He faced 11 charges of neglect of a child, as well as culpable negligence and perjury.
Ooh.
He pleaded not guilty and has filed a motion to have all charges dropped. A statement that was released by his lawyer before he was charged said that he believed the shooting was happening outside the building. Again, why don't you still try and do something to stop it? If you believe a shooting is happening, why not step up?
Your job is to go to it.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
You are trained for that.
Yes.
According to the lawyer, he claimed he told this to the first Coral Springs police officer who arrived on scene. The statement also pointed to a radio transmission that indicated a gunshot victim near the football field. The Miami Herald transcribed these radio dispatches.
Wow.
And that he had said at 2:23 during the shooting, "Be advised, we have could be firecrackers. I think we have shots fired, possible shots fired, 1200 building." Seconds later, he radioed, "We're talking about the 1200 building. It's going to be the building off Holmberg Road. Get the school locked down, gentlemen." At 2:25, he radioed that we also heard it's by inside the 1200. At an unspecified time, he called for police to ensure, that no one comes inside the school. Okay.
Wow.
At 2:27, at Building 12, he radioed, "Stay at least 500 feet away at this point." At an unspecified time, he ordered, "Do not approach the 12 or 1300 building. Stay at least 500 feet away." So he's ordering people not to come near this building.
And who is he?
The resource officer.
An SRO?
Yeah. He's the calling the shots on this.
Where is the higher-ups than this department?
They should be saying, "No, we need to rush in. We need to take care of this right now."
Yes. Oh my gosh.
So, March 15th, the sheriff's office released video footage in compliance with a court order. It was captured by school surveillance cameras and showed some of his movements during the shooting.
Oh, boy.
Anonymous sources told CNN that Coral Springs police arrived at the scene and saw the 3 Broward deputies behind their vehicles with pistols drawn. Broward Sheriff's Office Captain Jan Jordan ordered deputies to form a perimeter instead of immediately confronting the shooter. This tactic was contrary to their training regarding active shooters. So they were ordered not to go in. They were just, "We're going to line up. We're not going to go in." At all.
Which is exactly why Cruz was able to do what he did.
In the amount of time he did, because it did not take him long to do this shooting.
And the way he got out.
Yeah. He was able to get in, kill all these people, and then
go out with the students.
And go get a Coke.
Oh.
Like it was nothing of a day. So, based on timestamps of the police logs, the order was given sometime after the shooting had stopped. After the shooting stopped, they said, "Okay, let's go in."
Wow.
Jordan was widely criticized for her actions, and she resigned, citing personal reasons 9 months after the shooting. Oh, well, I guess I'll just go ahead and resign now.
I'm sure it was.
She should have resigned
I'm sure it was for personal reasons. So we're about done.
Yeah. So Sheriff Israel said that Coral Springs officers were the first to enter the building about 4 minutes after Cruz had left the school.
Left the school?
4 minutes after he left the school.
Surreptitiously left.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Due to a tape delay in viewing surveillance footage, officers believed that he was still in the building. As of early March 2018, there were 3 investigations in the timeline of police response. I'm at a loss of words, honestly. I mean, my youngest just graduated in 2021, and I still feared every day for sending him to a place that he was supposed to be safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
bad enough that we have to worry about our kids at school. I mean, like, my kids, they're all already grown and not in school, but, you know, I have a nephew. Mm-hmm. I have a grandson, and I am terrified for when they start school. I really am. I mean, and it would make me ecstatic if my sister and my daughter decided that they were going to homeschool their kids. I would be okay with that.
I know plenty of people who do homeschool, and honestly, it's like one of the best things ever. Yeah, there's some controversies with it, and I know killers that came from it too, but you know, that's another story. Mm-hmm. But honestly, in the day and age of now, I'm like, I don't trust the school officials. Because there's so much, like when my youngest was in school, there was so much going on behind the scenes that the school officials couldn't do that I knew that was going on. Yeah. And I'd be like, hey, y'all need to get ahead of this. This is, there's drugs going on. I know there's always been sex in the bathrooms. That's always, but the handling of drugs, the school shootings, the response times, I mean, something needs to be done.
Yeah, it really does. Uvalde and all of them never should have happened.
No.
Never should have happened.
We should have gotten a handle on this ahead of time. And unfortunately, there's going to be more shootings. It's not going to be the last.
Yeah, and that's another thing I was going to say. And I might have mentioned this in the first episode. Okay, so I'm thinking in my mind that not only the kids are not safe at school, and like I mentioned a while ago, I might have mentioned this in the first episode, but I don't feel like I feel okay with my kids going to the movies, to the mall. I mean, we just had that shooting at the Allen Outlets here. Yeah. Close to us that we've both been to and shopped at. And many times. I cannot imagine just walking around and shopping and just come out with my bags, toodaloo, and someone's there and they shoot me. I just can't imagine that. And then you just have to think about these kids in the classroom that just...
They know where to go.
They didn't have a chance.
No.
They did not have a chance. No. And then you got everybody that's outside going to help you doing nothing.
Which is their job to brush in and
waiting.
Help.
I'm sorry. I'm off my soapbox. Thank you.
It's super scary. I mean, we can't even go to Walmart. We can't go shopping. Nobody can do anything normal anymore.
Church.
Yeah. It's... Oh. But like we were talking about, like the American, like our shootings, the way we automatically, as soon as there's a shooting, let's take away the guns.
Yeah. Versus
like other countries where a lot of them have strict no guns.
Yeah.
Or, like we were talking about where they said, okay, well, this shooting happened. Come in and turn in your guns and there won't be any consequences.
Yeah. It was somewhere in like Europe or something, I think.
Yeah.
That they hadn't had a school shooting in 8 years.
Yeah.
But we're having them like daily.
It's too soon. I mean, even that most recent one, was it Kentucky, where that vet's office was shot? I don't know if you heard about that one.
I didn't hear about that.
You have to look it up. It's sad. I mean, just going to like your regular routine appointment. Or even all the hospitals and then now the doctor's offices and stuff that are being shot up.
Yeah.
Like, it's like...
Yeah, that guy with the monitor on his ankle going into the hospital to see his child.
Yeah.
And kills people while he's in there.
The sad thing is every office I've worked for, including when I was working dialysis, we would have shooter drills. What would we do if someone came in? Sad. And when you work in medical, you're not allowed to have your gun on you. And so all this, we going back out to our truck to get our guns.
There was a TikTok that I saw the other day where this young girl was literally giving a tutorial on what you could carry in your backpack to defend yourself, possibly, or even survive.
Yeah, like I told you in the first one where the teacher was teaching her students, okay, we're going through this drill, and she'll just do it, like, okay, we're going to have a drill.
Yeah.
And, we're going to do all this, and these are all the steps we're going to do.
Yeah.
And I've seen moms on TikTok talking about where they bought the shields, the bulletproof shields for their preschoolers, Can you imagine, Brixton having to put a shield in his little backpack?
I wouldn't even want my nephew or my grandson there if they had to even do that. How can you even feel safe when you even have to do that?
Yeah. I wouldn't feel safe.
It's always going to be on their mind. I feel like.
Like you've always got that thought back in your head that, okay,
what if today is the day?
What if someone bursts through that
to
door
us?
And I need to be ready?
Yeah.
Do I have enough time to grab my backpack and put it in front of me? Do I have enough time to duck? Do I have enough time to run over here? These students didn't. I mean, there were warning signs and there were warning signs.
A lot.
And still nothing was done. Nothing was done. Even during the shooting, nothing was done.
Right.
I don't understand. And I would love to talk to a police officer to understand more on why this, if you're trained to run into the situation, why didn't they do it?
Yeah. Like, what were we waiting on? Were they told something?
Yeah. Besides you have an officer saying, don't go in. We're just going to put a perimeter up.
An SRO.
Yeah. It's like the Dallas shooting where those 7 officers lost their lives. They ran towards the gunshots of that guy. Mm-hmm. That's what you're trained to do. You are to protect the people. Why didn't they do it? Uvalde, why didn't they go in? Nashville shooting, they ran straight up and went in. I have questions that I need answers to.
Right.
So I need everyone take a big deep breath.
Woosah.
Let it out. If you gotta throw something. You need to punch that pillow, punch it. Scream. Take a drink. If you're drinking liquor, cheers. Because, man, these cases just kind of, they hit you right here.
Yeah.
So, all right, my crime crazy people, we will be back next week with a brand new episode.